Hello everybody and welcome to my website. Today we are going to be doing an accessibility review on Shubham's portfolio. They kindly asked me to do a review on their website, so I thought we would have a look at that today. And so here you can see how it looks from the start. It's nice and clean, nice vivid colours, looking pretty good. So let's start by doing a tab check and running through the website. And I always just start by clicking in the URL at the top, and then I'm going to press on the tab button, and that should take me to all of the interactive elements on the page. So let's see where we end up. Okay, so first I end up on this changing the world one line of code at a time. I would not expect that to be interactive. It doesn't look like a link. It's in the position where you would often find a logo for a website, but this is not a logo, so it doesn't directly call out to me that this should be a link. So that was something unexpected. And also this hamburger menu up in the corner got completely bypassed. So let's see what happens next. Okay, we go to the little envelope on the other side, then Twitter, and then LinkedIn. And that's fine, and I'm seeing down in the bottom left-hand corner that they are links because they are appearing where they lead to when you hover over them, which is great. So let's continue. Okay, now I go to HTML here, this little icon, but if I look at where this actually leads, it's an empty link, which by clicking on it actually just opens up the web page again. In a new window, and that is not something that would be expected, so that doesn't need to be a link. I would suggest none of these need to be a link because they don't lead anywhere, and some of them are links and some of them aren't, it appears. So remove the links from these little icons. Okay, then we go to I need a website and I need a developer, as expected. Okay, where are we now? Okay, we are focused on this image, but the focus indicator is not very clear because it kind of blends into the image. Now the question is, if we have this visit link down here, do we also really need to focus on the image? I'm guessing that they go to the same place. This one goes to dailymusicgenerator.netlify.app, and the visit button also goes there. So no, you do not need to put a link on both the image and on the button. If you were going to do that, I'd suggest making it more like a card and putting the link on the entire card, but the link on the button is enough, because otherwise for a screen reader this is going to get read out twice and maybe a little bit confusing. So I'm guessing we've got similar issues for the rest, that we are linking on the image and the button. Also the button or the link just says visit, which is not entirely clear. Where am I going to visit? Screen readers, which I can show you in a minute actually. Screen readers, you can just tab through all the buttons or all the links on a page, and if you imagine you're tabbing through and all you hear is visit, 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 visit every time you hit a link, then it's like, okay, what am I going to visit if I click on this link? Okay, fairly straightforward, lots of projects here, and you're visiting all of them. Okay, so yeah, I would suggest having a look at making this button tabbable. If I open it, I wonder if I can get there then. No, even if I open it, I still don't come first to the things inside, so that I've got no way of accessing this with my keyboard. So that is definitely something to have a look at. Okay, so I've fired up NVDA, the screen reader available on Windows, and I'm just going to use the K button to cycle through all of the links on this website. Using the K button to cycle through links is quite a common thing to do, and you will hear how each link is presented and if any labels are missing. So let's have a listen.
Shubham Sigda Portfolio Shubham Creative Content Document. Link changing the world one line of code at a time. List with 3 items link. 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 List with 8 items HTML5 graphic visited link.
Okay, so just going back, we had a list with 3 items up here, and then we just had link. So there is no label present on these links. So that is something we can have a look at in a second. Now we're down on a list of items down here on the HTML link.
CSS3 graphic visited link. JavaScript graphic visited link. React graphic visited link. Node.js graphic visited link. List with 2 items. I need a website link. I need a developer link.
Okay, that's interesting. Often we don't use a list if we are going to put button type things. I can understand here why you did it. It is a list of 2 links. You don't have to use a list for every single set of links that you include on your website.
dailymusegenerator.netlify.app. Link. List with 1 items. Visit link.
Okay, here we seem to have a list with the visit link inside it. That is not really best practice because you don't have a list here at all. You have just 1 link. So you do not need a list if you only have 1 link. You probably don't need a list if you have 2 links in it either. It just adds to the verbosity of the screen reader. And here you heard that it only said visit. It doesn't tell me at all where I'm going to visit. On the image it told me where I was going to visit, but it just told me the link address, which it indicates that this doesn't actually have any label telling me where I'm going to visit. So that is something that you need to consider, adding labels to those as well. So let's carry on.
High-low number guessing game.n. Link.
Okay, she's not very good at pronouncing guessing.
List with 1 items. Visit link.
Yeah, I'm guessing that all of these have got the same problem, that you've put your visit button inside a list and it doesn't need to be. Okay, so there are several of these, so I'm not going to go through all of them at the same time. Let's just turn the screen reader off. Okay, so I have turned Susan the screen reader off. Let's do a quick DevTools check. With Axe DevTools, we'll scan the page and see what this shows. Okay, we've got 40 errors. And so 10 where elements must have sufficient color contrast. We can have a look at this. I have noticed that Axe DevTools has been a bit picky about this recently and picking up things that aren't actually problems. Like here, it could be that this grey is not quite dark enough. So that's something to look into. Let's see if we can scroll through the rest pretty quickly. That blue should be okay, but I would just check the lighter blue here at the end against the white and make sure that that's all got the right contrast. That's not a problem at all. Even this is saying it's 9.89, so Axe DevTools is just picking up things that it shouldn't be. The contrast there is fine as well. So sometimes Axe DevTools can be problematic, and I have noticed that just on this sufficient color contrast, it has been being very picky recently. One website I looked at the other day and it told me there was over 2,000 color errors, and there was no color errors at all. Can't always rely on these automatic tools. HTML must have a language attribute. This, if we look in the elements tool, your HTML here, you just need to, it's not going to let us edit it now. Add attribute. It should be lang is equal to en if it's in English, and that will fix that problem. What else do we have? Links must have discernible text. These are all of your links that don't have any labels. So let's see if we can find those. And the way to do this, okay, you've put span class label. That's not the way to do it because spans are actually ignored by the accessibility tree. If you want to put a label onto this, so I can see that you've tried, let's right click again, add attribute, and you would put aria dash label is equal to email, and that is how you solve this problem. So don't use a span, they get ignored. Put the label like this directly onto the link. Okay, what else do we have? UL and OL must only directly contain list, script or templates. Not entirely sure where that one is. I can't see it. Is it giving me an element? The contact. Okay, that's hidden right down here somewhere. So somewhere in here, your list is not quite as it should be. Links with the same name must have a similar purpose. Yep, so this is identifying all of these visit links. They actually should have different names. One suggestion that I have is actually just making the title of this a link, and then having, so you know, high, low, number, guessing game is the link, and then you can get rid of these buttons. And if you just underline it, then you would know that this is where the link is. If you don't want to do that, then try using an area labeled by and label it by the title here. I can show you how to do that as well. If I stop the highlight and we pick up one of these elements, if we pick up the visit button and we add an attribute, and here we add in an area dash labeled by, and then you add in an ID here, and we'll call it just H3 title for this in this case, but because you've got lots of H3s here, you'd need to add different IDs on them all. Okay, so you add an ID to the thing that you want to use as the label, and then you use area labeled by, and then you reference the ID here. So that would give you a proper label on this visit button. I don't know if that would help now when we hover over it. Yeah, now you can see on this that the name is Daily Music Generator, whereas on this one it's Visit. So that is the way to fix these links so that they get read out by the correct name when someone is using a screen reader. And if we go back to Axe DevTools, let's have a look. All page content should be contained by landmarks. We're probably missing a main element or something here. Let's have a quick look. It's marking that we have got a header. Okay, but I probably would suggest, okay, there's lots of extra things in here. Okay, you've got a div with an ID of main. Nowadays you can actually, this can just be called main. It doesn't need to be a div. It should actually be a main, or it should have a role of main to show that this is where all your main content is. However, I would suggest not wrapping the entire thing in a main, because you have got your header first. If we just, and then, okay, interesting. You've got a header and then a section which you've called banner, which may or may not also be a header, and then you've also got another header down here. But I would suggest this is not a header at all. I kind of understand you're saying this might be the header for this section, but that's not the usual way to do it. You don't need this extra header wrapping this H2. You can just have the H2 directly as a child of the section. That works fine without making extra verbosity with extra things like extra elements that aren't really needed. So I would suggest don't have the main up here, but I'm trying to find it now. Where's it gone? Your header first, and then wrap everything else here. Wrap these sections in a main tag instead, and turn it into a main tag and not just with an ID of main. But other than that, you've used a header there, so that's great. And then I'd go through and just have a look at those areas where you have used lists, because you maybe don't need quite so many lists in this. Anyway, there we go. A really great portfolio to have a look at. A few things that could be made better. Make sure that all of your links have a proper label, which can be determined by a screen reader. Make sure that things are not missed out of the tab order, like your hamburger menu at the top, and consider removing some of these links that aren't really necessary, and consider relabeling some of these project articles so that they are clearer. I really hope that was helpful to you. If you've got any questions at all, please do let me know down in the comments below. And if you would like me to review your portfolio, then do let me know. I'll put the link in the description where you can drop me your link to your website. It doesn't have to be a portfolio, but it can be, or it can be something else, that's fine. But do let me know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!